Have you ever stopped to wonder why some people seem to crumble the moment they hit a wall, while others, who might not even be as talented or as smart on paper, use that exact same wall as a stepping stone? It's one of the most nagging, enduring questions in the history of human psychology. We see it everywhere. We see it in sports, in business, in art, and even in our own families. For the longest time, society has been telling us a very specific story. We've been led to believe that the primary drivers of success are things we have no control over. We're told it's about innate gifts, high IQ, exceptional natural talent, or maybe just winning the genetic lottery and being born into the right circumstances. We look at the high achievers of the world, the Olympic gold medalists, the visionary CEOs, the brilliant virtuoso musicians, and we assume they possess some kind of magic dust. We think they have a gift that the rest of us just lack. But here is the thing. Modern psychological research is turning that assumption completely on its head. It turns out that belief isn't just flawed, it's actually dangerous. It limits us. The real barrier standing between you and your highest potential isn't a lack of ability. It's not that you aren't smart enough or talented enough. Instead, the barrier is a hidden mental setting. Think of it like a silent operating system running in the background of your mind, processing every experience you have. This operating system is known as your mindset. Drawing from the absolutely groundbreaking research of Dr. Dweck at Stanford University, we now understand a fundamental truth. How you perceive your abilities matters far more than the abilities themselves. So, over the next few minutes, we are going to go deep. We're going to explore the science of mindsets. We're going to look at the actual neurological differences they create in your brain. And most importantly, I'm going to give you a scientifically backed 3-step blueprint. This is a guide to help you shift from a rigid, limiting perspective to one of virtually limitless potential. Part 1. A Tale of Two Mindsets. Let's break this down. Dr. Dweck's research identifies two distinct ways that humans view intelligence and ability. She calls them the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Now, don't let the simplicity of those names fool you. These aren't just attitudes or moods, these are profound belief systems. They are the lenses through which we interpret the entire world and, crucially, our place within it. Let's start with the fixed mindset. The trap of now. People who operate with a fixed mindset believe that their basic qualities, their intelligence, their talent, their creativity, are carved in stone. It's like they believe life is a poker game where you are dealt a hand of cards at birth, and that's it. You can't trade them in. You can't get new ones. Your entire life is simply about playing those cards and hoping you don't get bluffed. The internal narrative of someone with a fixed mindset is exhausting. It's a constant running monologue of judgment. It sounds like this: I'm either good at this or I'm not. I'm a math person or I'm not. I'm creative, or I'm not. And because they view ability as static, as something that just is, they have a complicated relationship with failure. For them, failure isn't just an event, it's an identity. Think about that for a second. If you fail a test or blow a presentation, a fixed mindset doesn't say, I didn't prepare enough. It says, I am a failure. It feels like a permanent verdict on their soul. This leads to the avoidance of challenge. To preserve their self-image, to keep feeling smart, they run away from difficulties. Their reasoning is, if I have to work hard at this, I must not be very good at it, because if I were a genius, this would be easy. So, effort becomes terrifying. Effort is seen as a weakness because it exposes your limitations. Now, and let's flip the coin and look at the growth mindset. The power of yet. In stark contrast, individuals with a growth mindset believe that their most basic abilities are just a starting point. They believe you can develop almost anything through dedication and hard work. They don't deny that talent exists, but they view brains and talent merely as the foundation, not the finished structure. Their internal narrative is completely different. It's focused on development. When they hit a wall, they don't say, I'm not good at this. They say, I don't understand this yet. They actually thrive on challenges. They want to be stretched because they understand intuitively that stretching is the only way to grow. And here is the biggest difference: failure as feedback. In the growth mindset, failure is not a condemnation. It's not a judge banging a gavel. It's simply data. It is information. It's the world telling you, hey, your current strategy didn't work. Try a new approach. That's it. It's neutral. Part 2, the neuroscience of growth, why this actually works. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds like nice motivational fluff. Think positive, work hard, got it. But this isn't just self-help. This is biology. The distinction between these mindsets is physical. Modern neuroscience backs up the growth mindset through a concept called neuroplasticity. For a long time, scientists thought the brain stopped developing after childhood. They thought once you hit your 20s, your brain was set. We now know that is completely false. The brain is much more like a muscle. It changes, it adapts, and it physically grows stronger the more you use it. When you adopt a growth mindset and push yourself through difficult tasks, the neurons in your brain are actually forming new connections. You are building new bridges. Let's look at what happens inside the scanner. The fixed brain. When a person with a fixed mindset makes a mistake, their brain activity remains relatively quiet. Why? Because they disengage. They look away. They try to protect their ego from the pain of being wrong, so they literally stop processing the information. They miss the lesson because they are too busy protecting their feelings. The growth brain. But when a person with a growth mindset makes a mistake, their brain lights up like a Christmas tree. There is a flurry of electrical activity. They are deeply engaged. They are processing the error, are analyzing it, and physically rewiring their neural pathways to correct it for next time. This explains why the gap between these two groups gets so wide over time. The fixed mindset individual stagnates to protect their current status. They stay in the safe zone. Meanwhile, the growth mindset individual is continuously, physically upgrading their brain's capacity. They are literally building a better brain. Part 3. The consequences of your mental setting. So what does this look like in the real world? Because these mindsets don't just stay in your head, they bleed into every aspect of your life, your career, your relationships, your parenting, and your happiness. Let's look at the fixed mindset trajectory. People stuck in this mode often find their development arrested early in life. They're the ones who might have been the smart kid in school but struggle in the messy real world. They often experience deep envy when others succeed. Why? Because if success is a fixed pie, then someone else's success feels like a threat to their own status. They live in a state of chronic anxiety, fearing that one mistake, one slip-up, will unmask them as a fraud. This is the root of imposter syndrome. Consequently, they stick to what they know. They repeat the same behaviors. They avoid the risks necessary for innovation. They play small. Now, contrast that with the growth mindset trajectory. Growth-minded individuals tend to achieve far more than their natural potential would suggest. They don't look at someone else's success with envy. They look at it with curiosity. They ask, how did they do that? What can I learn from them? Because they aren't afraid of looking dumb or making mistakes, they innovate, they experiment. And when they get knocked down, which they do, they bounce back faster. They understand that the path to mastery is paved with failures, and they are willing to walk that road. Part 4. The 3-step blueprint for mindset transformation. Okay, so we know the problem, and we know the science. Now, what do we do about it? The most important takeaway from Dr. Dweck's work is this: mindsets are not permanent. You are not stuck with the brain you have today. You can change your mind, but it's not magic. It's a practice. It's a daily discipline. Here is a specific science-backed blueprint to help you shift from fixed to growth. On step 1, change your language. The power of yet. Language is the programming code of the brain. The words you use to describe your struggles dictate exactly how your brain responds to them. Many of us unconsciously use permanent language. We say things like, I'm not a math person. I can't cook. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm just not organized. These statements are stop signs. They shut down neural pathways. They tell the brain to stop trying because there is no point. The strategy. The solution is a tiny 3-letter word, yet. Whenever you catch yourself making a definitive negative statement about your abilities, I want you to append yet to the end of the sentence. Change. I don't get this to I don't get this yet. Change I'm not good at this to I'm not good at this yet. It sounds subtle, almost too simple, right? But this linguistic shift changes the statement from a fact about your limitations to a statement about your timeline. It signals to your brain that the learning curve is still open. It tells your subconscious that success is just a matter of time and effort. It keeps the door open. Step 2. Praise the process, not the outcome. This step is vital for parents, teachers, and managers. But honestly, it is equally important for your own self-talk. We are culturally conditioned to praise talent. We love to say, "Wow, you are so smart," or "You are a natural at this." While this sounds positive, it's actually a trap. It reinforces the fixed mindset. It tells the subconscious that the result was due to an innate trait. And here is the danger. If you praise being smart when you succeed, you will automatically assume you are dumb when you fail. The strategy. Shift your focus to process praise. Acknowledge the strategy, the effort, and the perseverance. Instead of saying, "Wow, you got an A, you're a genius," try saying, "I saw how hard you studied for that test. Your strategy of reviewing your notes every night really paid off." And apply this to yourself. At the end of a long day, don't just celebrate the wins. Celebrate the focus you maintained. Celebrate the effort you exerted, regardless of the immediate outcome. This conditions your brain's dopamine reward system to value the work ethic over the status. You want to get addicted to the process of growing, not just the feeling of winning. Step 3. Embrace failure as ultimate feedback. This is the hardest one, but the most powerful. In a fixed mindset, failure is an emotional event. It feels like shame. It feels hot and heavy. To transition to a growth mindset, you have to strip the emotion away from failure and view it clinically. The strategy. Adopt the mindset of a scientist. Think about a scientist in a lab. When an experiment fails, does the scientist cry? Do they feel like a bad person? No. They look at the data. They ask, why did that happen? And what variable can I change next time? Consider Thomas Edison. He famously didn't look at his thousands of unsuccessful attempts at the light bulb as failures. He viewed them as the discovery of thousands of ways that didn't work. This is the ultimate reframe. When you view failure as data, you remove the fear. You realize that every no brings you one step closer to a yes. You stop taking it personally and start using it productively. Conclusion, the daily practice. Let's wrap this up. The journey to success isn't a straight line, and it certainly isn't a lottery ticket. It is a psychological discipline. The root problem for those who feel stuck in life is rarely a lack of talent. It is almost always a rigid belief system that prevents them from using the talent they actually have. Changing from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset doesn't happen overnight. You don't just watch one video or listen to one explanation and poof, you're fixed. It requires catching yourself. It requires noticing when you fall into old habits. It requires conscious effort to add yet to your sentences. It takes practice to praise your own hard work rather than your natural gifts. And it takes courage to look at your failures with curiosity rather than shame. As we finish up here, remember this. Old habits are comfortable, like a warm blanket, but they are also cages. Growth habits are challenging. They are uncomfortable, but they are the keys to freedom. By adopting these strategies, you stop protecting your ego and you start expanding your potential. So the next time you face a challenge that feels impossible, I want you to take a breath and remember, you haven't mastered it yet.